Thanks to RetroAchievements.com, I can play some retro games to earn achievements. Which got me thinking, could I get every achievement in
40 Winks?
Also known as Rough and Tumble or Dream Story, 40 Winks is a 1999 title that follows the adventure of either Rough or Tumble as they fight for the right to have nice dreams again. Before we get into it, let's look at the achievements. The vast majority of them are to find all the pickups in the levels and duplicates for hard mode. So I'll be playing on hard to earn double achievements every time I 100% a level. The rest involve finding secrets, doing X action, that sort of thing. So let's get started. After choosing which character to play as, the game opens up with a cutscene of Rough and Tumble being put to bed. Uninterested in sleep, oh to be young again, the mother tells them both a story about the Winks, who give you nice dreams and let you become whatever you want to be in your dreams, and the Hoodwinks, who give you nightmares. Meanwhile, the villain Nightcat, made obvious by the fact that he is ugly, old and English, is struggling to sleep. In a tantrum, he orders his minion, Fredbear, to kidnap the Winks so he can cancel nice dreams on Twitter. And no, I will never call it X no matter how much elongated Muskrat wants me to. Then we cut to gameplay. Okay, so no seeing the negative effects of the Hoodwinks stopping people having nice dreams. No motivation from the main characters as to why they are going to go and fight Nightcap. Okay, I guess I'll just head this way then. What the fuck is that? If you do want to know, this is Wakey Wakey. He acts as your something. He doesn't really go into detail of who, what and why he is. Wakey just pops up to tell you what you already know. Walking past the Mattel Reject, I entered into the first Dream Realm. Each world has a theme that holds 3 levels, a race, and a boss fight. The first of these themes I played was the very obvious horror world called Haunted Hijinks. First, I learned how to save the game. That is unsettling. Creepy old guy staring at me is enough to make me save as quickly as I can and then head over to the first level. Or what I thought was the first level. Well, now I know how to leave the world, so I enter back in and get to the actual first level, TikTok Manor. Oh great, a manor full of no talent hacks and morons. To complete a level, you need to find all of the Winks before the exit portal will open for you. However, as I'm trying to get 2 achievements each level, I also need to collect all 4 of the Dream Keys and all of the cogs on top of the Winks to get the 100% achievements. Now that I am in an actual level, I need to partake in platforming. I am starting to feel the ever so familiar feeling of frustration that came from PS1 jank. Controlling the character for the most part is okay, but there is... there we go. But there is a slight arc to the turns, which isn't always an issue except for when it is, such as when you're trying to fine-tune an angle. It didn't affect my ability to navigate this saw trap, but it wasn't long before more jank reared its ugly head. Slippery surfaces meant that landing close to an edge of a jump could make you fall off, often into hazard and potentially death. Combat also is a rough experience, depending on the enemy you fight, as hit detection can sometimes be off, but the bigger issue is the difference in recovery time from a stagger. Punching a foe makes them stagger, but there's a cooldown until that animation plays again. For some, the cooldown is long, so while you are laying the smack down on someone mid-combo, they can interrupt you before you hit them again because they super armor through your attacks, as the cooldown for their stagger animation hasn't refreshed yet. For others the cooldown is short, and you can get a full combo out. Then when it comes to you being on the receiving end of a fist, iframes protect you for a short time. And I mean short. It's possible for enemies to land multiple hits on you because your iframes don't last long enough for you to get away or do a counter-attack, as the wind-up motion for your attacks can also leave you open, because although small, the wind-up animation gives the enemy just enough frames for them to land a cheap shot of their own. So I had to try and get tricky with my combat skills, using rolls, jumping mid-combos and bouncing on their heads to avoid myself getting hit as much as I could. It didn't always work, but it did make the combat easier. It helped me get to the first area, which taught me how cogs work. I fight a room full of foes and unlock a hidden door to pull a switch. Down the switch door were more victims, and despite all my rage, I did find a Wink in a cage. I needed 10 cogs to open it, but I was short 4. Behind it was a teleport that took me to the other secret passage, which took me to the 4 cogs I needed before putting me back into the original passage and allowing me to free and collect my first Wink. Now that I have 10 cogs, I am also able to open more doors, and now I'm off to the library. In this area there is a few new enemies. These ones however are easier to beat because they turn in a wide arc that means they have hard troubles turning around, or they can get stuck, meaning they're vulnerable if I keep on top of them with fancy footwork or stay behind them. Though of course, that isn't the only issue I'm facing here. Insta-kill death traps in a game with slippery physics do not fill me with confidence. Oh, now you tell me? Right after I died twice getting here? In truth, I did actually find the button and activated it before he told me how to operate them, but why is he not here telling me that these things can be booty slammed? But stomping the button stops the platform folding for a short time, but this switch needs a special gimmick before my glutes can activate it. That gimmick is the quick change jack-in-the-boxes that give you a new form to use, in this case, a fairy. These forms allow for new abilities for 100 seconds, and the fairy is as powerful as all fuckery. Her basic combo is a shockwave attack. She's impervious to normal damage, runs fast, can activate the star buttons, and jumps really high. Sadly, shoddy platforming is one of her weaknesses, and trying to mount the flying furniture in the next area was a pain in the dick because, for some reason, everything in this world acts as if it's slathered in grease. Not much left of the level now. I enter the 230 doors to get the final 40 cogs I need to enter the final door. Now, I must have got lucky because normally I don't find things that are hidden very well, but I was able to find all 4 of the dream keys on my first try and collected the final wink from my first 2 dings. Back at the hub, I head to the next level, Witchway Woods. Here I get to try out the new form called the Caveman, but I prefer to call it Ugg because, damn, it's ugly. The enemies were getting tougher now, as Frankensteins and buff furries that take a ton of hits before they die litter the level. Ugg is strong and does more damage, but doesn't have any sort of damage reduction, meaning that any enemy could kill them just as easy as if they weren't Ugg. The werewolves are fine because they actually have a short stagger animation, meaning I can get them in a stun lock for an easy kill. But the Frankensteins are cheap cockends that shoot lightning out of their eyes and abuse the shit out of it. Thankfully, the AI is lacking when it comes to navigating around campfires, and I am able to abuse them by utilising my shockwave as a ranged attack. Ugg may be ugly, but Ugg's smarter than them. Sadly, however, I wasn't able to keep my Ugg form for the albino wolf fight and lost my last life, getting my first game over. He's a necessary fight to get further into the level, so I can't try and avoid him. On my second attempt, the odds were more in my favour, as not only was the experience on my side, I also discovered the secret area by smashing through this weak-grounded Ugg and collecting enough of the RT tokens to collect an extra life as well as 2 dings. And no, I don't know what RT actually stands for. This time, I was able to take Ugg to the fight and made it much easier, but I still lost a ton of health. Shortly after, I try out the ninja form. I had to press the ninja switch and realise just how much I do not like the ninja. It's the fastest of the forms and has a fireball attack, but the weakest melee strikes, weaker than your default form, meaning that Tumble's bare fist can kill a hoodwink in 6 hits, but this staff kills them in 9, and I had to fight a handful of them. I was able to beat them, but not without irritation. Passing the 20 door, I was attacked by man-eating plants again, and thought I was in an area I had been to before. Oh, now that's just cheap. I can be hurt while transforming? Dick move, developers. This area was short, and pickups were aplenty, including an extra life once more. Doing a Dark Souls roll to avoid Frankie, I entered a witch's cabin full of her minions. Between getting hit by them and burning my toes in rainbow soup, I was almost out of health. And just my luck, as past the 40 door was the bitch herself. She's a pain in the ass to fight because she relies on an ad spam of spiders to back her up and homing flaming skulls that despawn after way too long. I died in our first encounter, and then when I respawned and went back, her homing skull she shot last time was still there and waiting for me.
See, now that's some bullshit.
Reaching her was my biggest problem, as stopping to do a jumping strike left me open for attack. Seeing no other option, I tried a battle of endurance and hoped that I could wear her health down before she wore mine down. Sadly, this was not the case, and I game over again. There is a reason Raphael calls hope a tease. At this point, I was thinking about giving up. Unconvinced I'd be able to beat the wolf, I turned my attention to the race, which ended up being the saving grace of the run. The races will see you going one-on-one with the champion of the area. The tracks are littered with pickups, win the race and you get to keep them. Even better, you get to replay the race as much as you want. So I did what anyone else would do. I grinded the race over and over, taking the bridge shortcut to ensure my victory over the hag, using it as a top-up when I would run low on lives. And while I'm at it, I can actually ding twice. Once for beating the witch, and the other for becoming a super slumberer, which was to max out the collectible counter. So now that I'm maxed out on health, moons, and have 10 lives, I can tank my way through the harder levels and keep coming back from the dead until I win. I'll call it the Thrush technique, because I'm being an irritating cunt to the AI. Doing this technique, I managed to nab the fourth spot on the leaderboards for this race. Let me know down below if you've beat this time. By the time this video comes out, it probably won't stay that way, but let me know what time you've got if you've actually given it a go. With an extended health bar and lives to throw away, the Which Way Woods became the Bitch Please Woods. You suck! Much easier to beat, get the ding, and possibly the rest of the game would be like this too. And all thanks to Thrush. Technique. The final level I didn't catch the name of because I ran straight past Wakey Wakey as he was telling it me. It was a haunted castle level which started out with me going all night slashes on a bunch of zombies. Quite a bit actually. I'm all for punching zombies to death. I even get to do it as Ugg for a bit, and it's very satisfying to watch them explode into kid-friendly gore. Thrush technique had really strengthened me, and good thing too because there's a mini-boss who's a complete dick. He's very powerful and takes tons of hits. Even Ugg struggles to get shit done. So much so that I died twice as Ugg before finishing him off in kid form. Once he was gone, it was more zombie smacking, spider splattering, and ghost busting, then finishing up with all the haunted levels 100%. But I wasn't done here yet. With all the dream keys acquired, I could now open up the boss room and finish off the horror world once and for all. Fredbear is the boss in each of the worlds, but how he fights you changes. This fight is him riding a giant spider I mockingly called She-Blob. And this was confirmed because yelling at it had no effect. Instead, I went with plan B. Run around completely clueless until it makes a big attack and leave itself vulnerable, then see if that is when I hit it. I was half right. It does leave itself open for a smack, but not when it does an attack, but after it runs for a short time and gets tired. God, that spider's got a shorter sprint than the Reach Spartans. Once it takes damage, it throws a tantrum and stomps around before sending its children out to their deaths at my hands. Or rather, glutes. Repeating 5 times for a victory and a ding was mine. Fredbear retreats to Nightcap and gets repaired while Nightcap shows genuine care for his minion. Now this doesn't last. Meanwhile, I'm off to the next world. One full of water levels! Fun! Oh well, at least being this early in the game means I don't have to do it later on when the game gets harder. So, no pun intended, let's dive in. I decided that each world from now on I would do the race first because that would be the quickest to complete. The champion here is a flying shark, of course, and he's slightly faster than the witch. Despite his extra speed, I was able to win by the skin of my teeth and got the ding. I did consider possibly learning this course so that I could do the Thrush technique on it, but I figured that I'm already so familiar with the witch course, I might as well just keep to that for the rest of the game. But with the victory over the shark, I've got 1 of 5 tasks in this world done already. Now for the 3 water levels on hard difficulty. You'll forgive me if I don't sound enthusiastic about this, but I rarely enjoy a water level. That's for another time, however. Right now, I'm getting a sinking feeling as I enter level 1. Splish Splash City. This one wasn't so bad, actually. The enemies are kinda tough, with crabs that don't sit still, scuba divers who love to spam harpoons, and this abomination made conserving life a bit of an irritant, but nothing too hard. Though I did get an extra ding by playing this level because I got access to the final form, Cyborg. This one, for me, was the most powerful form. A jetpack for double jumping, homing rockets, and a great melee attack rate as well as damage. I wish this thing would have appeared more often. The underwater parts weren't as bothersome as I feared. Swimming is actually easy to control with air bubbles to refill your oxygen. If you're the fairy, you can actually breathe underwater, so you don't even have to worry about that. There was also a door that only boys were allowed to enter, which then got me worried after I found the final wink, as I was missing a dream key. So either there was a way to change characters I didn't know about, or possibly I would have to replay the level in a new game as Ruff. But the short answer is no. These routes are for, quote, replayability, but honestly, once is enough for me. In my searches for the final key, I accidentally left the level and had to redo the entire thing again, and then found it by accident because, no joke, my finger slipped and I pressed the boost button at the right time to find it. Also, I have to say, for a water world, this level was very dry, but the same couldn't be said about the Crazy Crab Caverns. A mixture of platforming and swimming with several back and forth sections make it a very tricky level to traverse, but not tricky enough for me to not get— oh, that's a horrible way to go out, and in a kid's game. The final level was Krusty Rusty Wreck, another mostly dry level. Can't tell if I should criticise how dry the water world is or be thankful I don't have to spend most of my time swimming. This one starts with a murderous sword, or possibly saw, fish after me, before boarding a sunken ship, which is a bit of a maze to navigate through, though I will say the swimming sections that are outside of the ship are pretty cool. There's no major issues to deal with, and getting the 100% was easy, but now it's boss time, and it could take a negative turn sharper than the completionist reputation. It wasn't a great start. Fredbear now has a robotic crab and shoots missiles with those irritating little shit crabs that come out to support him. The bad news is that when I die in a boss fight, everything resets, unlike the regular levels. The good news is, I've stocked up on lives because of Thrush, and have plenty of chances to fuck up like an idiot. To win, I need to make it dizzy by running in circles and then jumping on its head as it spins out of control. This mandatory maneuver to beat the boss allows the git to get a cheap shot on me as I try to run away. So I had to hope that the little shits didn't get a hit on me so I could try and tank Fredbear's cheap shots better. Thankfully, I was able to avoid most of it and got away with poking the bear once more. However, I wasn't done with Waterworld yet. There were 2 secret areas I had to find, and both of them I had missed, and I didn't enjoy these levels the first time, so imagine my overwhelming joy of having to play it all again. Being the awkward bugger I am, I smashed this fairy switch to open a hidden door to find the second secret first. Then found the first one second after crab murder, which opened up another door with lobsters who also take one hell of a bashing. Where's a bucket of boiling water when I need one? Now, as much as I wanted to quit out the level, I needed to finish it to make sure that I could bank the goodies. I acquired them at full speed and went into World 3. Outer Space, where, despite the phrase, everyone will in fact hear me scream. With rage. So my first task, as is the new norm, was to try and win the race. It was a twisty race with the grey man constantly up my arse, but in the end I did actually win. Starting the levels, first being Snoozy Woozy Satellite, I think this level's got my favourite music in it. The level itself, on the other hand, I can say for certain is my most hated. The selective ledge grabbing makes the platforming here very irritating. You clearly can make it up there, use your stupid little child arms! Using an improper method, I got up there onto the spaceship to hit the switch and collect the tokens onto— God damn it! Fucking slippery surfaces. Pain in my beautiful arse. After hitting the switch, open the back of the ship where the cyborg, or V-Girl?
V-Girl!
Costume is, making the platforming a hell of a lot more tolerable. For a while, things are better. The enemies were easier to fight, I ding on one of the secrets, I was finding my way around easier. Is that a space monkey? Things were going great. Confidence is a killer, kids. You're going to hear me say that a lot. But if anyone who watches my channel regularly knows, if life is going well, it means that it stopped kicking you in the dick because it's getting a run-up. In the final area of level 1, struggling to figure out how to reach the back of this cage as the ninja, I saw the pipe leading out to an opening. Using V-Girl, I flew over the gap that the pipe hangs over, where there is a ninja box and another gap in the wall. I decided that I would open the cage first, collecting the final wink. I still needed all the dream keys, so I changed back into V-Girl and flew over the... Flew back over. Flew back... Flew... Oh, why the hell isn't this working? After almost wasting all my lives trying to make the jump, I finished the level before I wasted all of them to bank my winks and rage quit for the night. Shortly after I stopped recording, I had an achievement pop up for the second area. Somehow. And I wasn't even playing. The next day, I utilised the Frush grind and went to get the 100%. I played through the level as normal, and then my dumbass figured out where I was going wrong. There was a ninja switch I had missed. Behind the door it opens are robots to kill, and then that unlocks the lift that takes me to Dream Key 3 and the Rubbish Compactor, where there are floating platforms to carry me to the fourth and final Dream Key and to a ding.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Back at the hub, I travel through the copyright-free Death Star halls to get to the Cosmic Cheese Caves. There's plenty of alien mice, crystals, thin as fuck walkways and gas fumes, but I'm not seeing any cheese.
Not even Wensleydale?
Biggest challenge finding my way around was being that the twat I am ended up leaving the level before I dinged because I jumped down this hole which cut me off from the rest of the level. So if there was anything up there I had missed, I now couldn't get it. So I had to do the entire level again, failing a second time because I jumped down the same hole too early again. Third time's the charm, they say, and thankfully it was the charm this time, so I could finally leave this shithole. The final space level, Lunar Mice Meteorite. This one I found the easiest and slightly eerie of the space levels. So I flew through it, finding everything I needed quickly while all the while thinking, this is the Death Star, not a meteorite. The only obstacle I couldn't beat was this sexist door, but that wasn't enough for me to stop getting the 100%. And boss time! Fredbear has secured himself a UFO. This time I get to fight him with the V-Girl suit and blast him with homing rockets when his shields go down after he tries to tase me. Once again he uses ad spam, but this time they are weak and fall quickly as long as I keep the suit charged. Honestly, and I'm not saying this to be cocky, but honestly, I was expecting something harder at this point in the game. As Fredbear is getting abused by his master, I'm skipping my way to the prehistoric world that time forgot. Punching a bee probably isn't the smartest idea, but it is how I start the race. This race was a confusing mess of cramped tracks with a lot of narrow spaces, non-registering boost rings, and shoddy camera work that reveals too late when you need to turn. I lost the first time, but only just. On the second try I won by a fair distance and don't know what I did different, but whatever it was, it worked. At this point in the game, I'm about halfway done. I have 3 more worlds to clear and just over half of the 40 winks. I said the thing! So no time to waste. Into the land that time forgot. Oh shit, I've already made that joke. Back to the past. Yeah, that'll do, I guess. So it's off to Stony Boney Valley. What the fuck? I can see why we forgot this time. It fucking hates us. Killer mushrooms, spitting magma pits, rib cages you get stuck in, floating spike traps, awkward doors, boulder traps that break the laws of physics to get you. Be it the environment or its creatures, everything here wants you dead and will do whatever it can to get you. I lost lots of lives on this level alone, and I still had 2 more levels and a boss to beat. Oh, and to make things even better, I was a jackass again and left the level too soon before getting all the dream keys, so I had to go through the prehistoric cesspool once more. Only once because a misalignment of the stick accidentally saw me landing on the final dream key, so I could finish the level and get the fuck out of there. Can't wait to see how much of a pain in the teeth these next ones will be. Tippy Toe Temple. This one also has a secret I need to find, assuming I live that long. Okay, I know I'm being a bit grumpy right now, but this one isn't as bad. Enemies are more of a problem than the platforming is, and they are fairly easy to fight, though tougher when I'm the ninja. The level is a temple and the rooms are made up of platforming assault course-esque areas to overcome. Honestly, a missed opportunity to make a puzzle solving area. The secret was easy to stumble by as it was near some of the smashables, which helped me find the remaining collectibles I needed for the level dings, and it wasn't much of a hassle. I did the Frush grind to refill the lives I'd lost so far in the Land Before Time, then it was time for the final prehistoric level, Drip Drop Swamp. This has a heavy reliance on the Ugg form here to traverse the environment and fight the enemies easier, and I will say, there is a dark satisfaction that I got from killing that fucking T-Rex by spewing bones of its ancestors onto it.
Man, that's pretty f***ed up, Yog. Pretty f***ed up, Joey.
The ninja form plays a significant role here too. Not much to say about this level except I get some Croc vibes from the level design, but that could just be me. Else, not much more to say about the level. Oh boy! Alright, that one got me. 3 levels 100%ed, the race won. Now for the boss. And surprisingly, another easy boss. So easy I figured it out during the intro sequence. It's a Triceratops. They charge. Charges are big attacks. Big attacks leave bosses open for a violent fisting. Do it 8 times and get rewarded with a clip of Fredbear being abused once more. 2 more worlds to go now, and where's the next one? At this point, I hadn't played the game in a week because I was in the middle of moving house, so I had forgotten everything I was doing. In my efforts while trying to find the next level, I did find the tutorial section 6 hours into the game, which I'm going to ignore because A, I know how to play the game now, for the most part, and 2, it's not an achievement. The next world is in the basement. Ooh, a piano! And it makes noise. Medieval mischief is accessed by jumping into a furnace. Hey, viewer, are you wearing headphones? I was. And imagine hearing that sound of a demon clawing its way out of the underworld coming from that little pet shop creature face. It took me by surprise, I can tell you. The baby dragon whose balls dropped early is the race champion. I went for a scout of the run to see how hard it was, to determine if it would be a now or later job, and it was surprisingly easy. Even though Fake Spike can keep up with you, when it comes to the final third of the track, you can easily outrun him even if you miss the boost pads. Alright, well that's a good start. Let's hope that good luck carries over to level 1. Nighttime Towers. Get it? Because they're knights, and it's a pun on night that's spelt without the K. It's an okay level. The skeletons and haunted armors are a pain in the arse though, as they can block hits, respawn when you leave, and are harder to beat down, but nothing a good shout can't deal with. A few issues cost me some lives, but not too many. There's also a secret I need to find, and I almost missed it because I found all the winks before I dinged and almost ran face first into the exit. All I'm missing is a few cogs, and I know where they are. I just missed them. But it's a good thing I know the way back up. The lift isn't coming back down. Great. And I probably need those last cogs to reach this. Oh wait, now it's working? What did I do different? Okay, this time I can actually get the final few cogs. Did that ding too early, or do I only need to collect 40 cogs for it to count as all cogs collected? I was correct with that those cogs open the 40 door to get to the secret area, and then I finally leave. Deep Dark Dungeon is next, and it's littered with those bastard skeletons. However, I have discovered the perfect moment to launch my attack and stunlock them, if not knocking them off the ledge to death. If that isn't helping, then Ninja Slam nukes them in one. Even with these superior combat tactics, the level is annoying as shit, with just how many there are, and having to keep lapping it to open more doors. As I explored, I discovered the Pit to Hell, the tortured souls of the damned, and only 2 of the dream keys. So I had to think where the last 2 could be. One of the keys I was able to find because I'd grown aware of the secret hidden steps near a death trap spot, and another was in a literal blind spot. Thank fuck there's no secret compartment to find in this one, so I can leave now. Tumbledown Ruins is the final level and starts with a gank, I see. Well, screw you guys. I'm going to do a Dark Souls and just run past you all. Physics don't quite work here, confirmed by the odd way I pushed this box and how this trap sent me outside the laws of space and time. There's a lot of platforming involved this time, and with those slippery physics and selective ledge grabbing, it becomes more of a chore than it does fun. Especially when the flying skulls make a reappearance and nudge you just enough to get you killed. Way too many times did I take damage from shitty stun locks or die from cheap deaths. True, there was a decent number of extra life tokens to be found and to try and balance out the bullshit I would be facing, but even so, fuck that level and the cunt who designed it. Good thing that was the last of the medieval levels because I am hating my time here, and once the boss is dead, I can leave for good. Oh, what fresh hell is this? So, this boss was easily the second most irritating out of all of them to fight. Fredbear chases you on a hopping horse. On the floor are 2 light pits that will only hurt you, and he's immune to your attacks. To actually hurt him, you need to become a fairy while trying to avoid the traps that block the way to the Jack-in-the-Boxes. When you do become a fairy, you get 30 seconds as opposed to the normal 100 to hurt him. Yet being a fairy isn't enough. You also have to time it right so that when he does become vulnerable, I have no idea how he does, every now and then I just start hearing him say, "Uh-oh," and I haven't even touched him, you can go turn fairy and hit him before he recovers. And I honestly don't know what the trigger to make him vulnerable is. He just keeps hopping around until he goes, it's not the pits, it's not the axes, and as far as I can tell, it wasn't running around until he was tired. In fact, I never did find out what the trigger was. His downfall was that when his AI binary code decided to add a 2, he got stuck in a long state of vulnerability and I was able to hit him more than once. This happened twice. Maybe it was the shockwave from the wands, but I have absolutely no idea. After his defeat, Fredbear gets a sermon from Nightcap.
I'm not sure it looks quite right, old leader. Well, I can always let it out a bit at the crutch. No, I mean, it doesn't match the other one. The other teddies all laugh. No, bad, wicked Threadbare. Vanity is a sin.
And I have 33 of 40 winks with the final few on the final world. Pirates Ahoy! As it's the final world, this is also the final race, so I scout it to determine the difficulty and won it only just. With that out of the way, I am off to the first level. Oh, look at that, Union Jack. And all of the racing achievements are complete. Diving booty first into a booty chest starts the first level. Barnacle Boatyard starts off with a tease, as being a short house means that I can't reach it. The game levels up its dickishness too. Some of the chests are now booby trapped. The fights against the pirates are a tedious mixture of punching and jumping with bigger ones that would take even longer to kill. The crabs are back. I rate that level 3 out of 10, would not plunder again. Alright, just 2 more levels and a boss. Just 2 more levels and a boss. Pirate Paradise. Oh dear god. 4 secrets to find? Oh, a pirate's life for fucking me. The first secret was easy to find, because it has a big red X that needs a slam. And there it be. Right after that is a douchebag Donkey Kong impersonator throwing exploding barrels at me as I try to navigate and climb a piece of fucking shit jumping section, which would be much easier if she would use her arms. Death was in abundance because of the goddamn jank and the cockends that spam explosives. I was getting so frustrated I just wanted the level done and to go to bed. I found the 4th secret, but was still missing the 2nd and 3rd one. But I wasn't going to put up with it then, so turned it off and went to bed for the night. When I came back, it was the Thrush grind again, hopefully for the last time, and then went back to Pirate's Paradise to find the last 2 secrets. The second I found by accident as my camera button got stuck after taking a teleporter to the second area. The bamboo cage took a little longer as I kept wandering around trying to find a switch to open it when actually all I had to do was go down this pathway that my dumbass had missed all of those times, become Ugg and booty slam the cage door open. Unfortunately, the treasure was moon coins, which I was full on already. Gold everywhere and not a shine of value. With all the treasure plundered and I didn't actually have to keep any of this progress, I quit the level and entered the final of the pirate levels, the Scary Mary. This place was littered with moon tokens, which I was convinced I was going to need, and I was right because there was a lot of shouting at explosive barrels. Later on I find a pirate ship, possibly the Scary Mary, which would be the end point of the level as this is where the 40 cog door was and the dream key was on its plank walk. Becoming ninja, I moved on to the next area, and this was easily one of the most tedious parts of the entire game. Hidden in a bunch of booby-trapped chests was the second dream key, then you need to jump into a whirlpool to start a gauntlet of crap. I had to fight a bunch of enemies in the weakest costume, then got stuck for a short time because there was an UGG door, but no UGG Jack-in-the-Box. I thought I saw an area to jump to, but I kept banging my head and thought it was a trick of the graphics. I tried moving a nearby crate onto the nearby switch, which was a bigger struggle than it should have been, only to find out that that was wrong too. I kept looking at the possibility that maybe this thing I deemed to be a graphical bug was actually a hole in the ceiling, and it actually was a hole in the ceiling that I could jump up to. So I moved the crate back, ninja jump up, avoid crabs, go for a swim. Oh, that's not good. A genuinely unnerving moment where, as the weakest striker, I'm being chased by sharks while trying to find cogs or dream keys that may be hiding nearby. Thankfully, the ninja is the fastest swimmer, so I can keep out of reach of the Grin twins fairly easily whenever I'm not grinding my nose on things. I clocked a portal which I took to escape being bitten, which also led me to dream key number 3. When I left, I saw an UGG print on the way out, meaning I would have to come back this way as UGG so I could smash the sharks if I want to. On the other side of the tunnel was a lighthouse, and this is where things got very tedious. First, I turned my attention to the immediate surrounding area to look for useful shit. In doing so, I collect the last dream key and a few more cogs. Then, at the lighthouse, I take the lift down and find a ninja switch, so I go back up, get change, go back down, do the slam, fireball a room full of hoodwinks and drunk pirates, collect my reward, head back up the lift, slip off the first platform, try again to reach the UGG box on top of the lighthouse, head back down, do the booty drop to unlock the other 3 rooms, nearly die to another room full of enemies, find 2 winks, ran out of UGG, climb back up to re-UGG, and dove into the water to head back the way I came. Ugh. If it wasn't for the back, forth, up and down, that wouldn't have been nearly as irritating. I attempted to swim past the sharks, but with the slowest swim speed and only 6 health, it wasn't going to happen. Back up the lighthouse once again to become UGG, and this time, the sharks die.
Where, you son of a... Ow!
One quick area check and then I moved on, and I found out that UGG is no good when fighting crap stations, as her arm swings are way too slow. So I left them alone and did the UGG switch, then fell into the whirlpool, which punked me back to the beginning. I tried to swim past the whirlpool, but being the size of a whale means you are too slow to swim out of the current. So once more, I donned the ninja outfit, and only through the power of Cobra Kai do I have the strength to swim out of a whirlpool. I head back to the pirate ship and... worry. I need 4 cogs to get the door open, and I don't know where they are. So I have to go through all that again to search every nook and cranny. Thankfully, I didn't have to backtrack for very long and get lucky because I find 2 in a chest and then the final 2 are in the water at the starting area. Back at the Scary Mary, I ninja up one last time and then to the ship. No, go fuck yourselves, I'm grabbing him and I'm out. Peace, bitches. With that final wink rescued, all level 100% have been completed. All that was left now was to fight the final 2 bosses of the game. The first target was Fredbear Pirate Edition. This one was just such fucking to do. You have 4 cannons, and by punching them in the right spot makes them fire. You need to hit him with your cannons to beat him. Fredbear does the same thing, except his can also fire pirates over at you, and the hit detection means that sometimes your direct hits don't count for shit. So between Fredbear's iframes, Fredbear shooting at you, pirates attacking you, getting in your way, and the Karens being picky bitches as if you hit them correctly or not, the boss is more of a battle of patience than it is skill. I die a few times trying to get the cannons to fire while failing to avoid Fredbear's shots, until I accidentally found myself on a high ledge out of the line of fire and Fredbear has got friendly fire on. Using this to my advantage, I hid on the platforms to stay out of the reach and danger and limited myself to 1 cannon, and hoped it would hit the shithead bear on the other side whenever he was nearby. It was a long, boring and dull fight, which probably could have been done in a much easier way. But I won out in the end, and watched as Nightcap was strangled and abused by a monster claw. All 40 Winks had been saved. Now it was time to take on Nightcap. First, I had to earn 2 achievements by opening the front door, and then jumped into the final boss arena where another cutscene plays.
Threadbare! Hostile forces approach the very threshold of our innermost sanctum. Oh, come again? Those pesky kids are here.
Hold the fuck on. How does he know who we are? This is the first time the kids and the villains have ever been seen in the same scene, let alone mentioned by them. I feel like this may be an incomplete game and some of the cutscenes are missing, but I will look into that later. Right now, Nightcap is ordering Fredbear into a mech bear suit to fight us for the final showdown. I am completely clueless on how to fight him. Running doesn't make him tired, luring the bombs he throws at you back to him doesn't work, yelling at him is ineffective, straight up violence does nothing. Wakey isn't offering much help as you would expect, before putting it plainly and saying I had to hit him while he was down. Oh, fighting dirty. My favourite. The question is, how do I knock him down? As well as keep him in sight because the camera keeps getting stuck on the outer wall while I try and spin it. After running around like a moronic child for a while, waiting for a long time to try and spot any sort of clue of him falling over himself, nothing I had tried was working, except... Dark Souls roll! Oh, that's promising. That's better. Eureka! Literally fighting him like a Dark Souls boss by running in circles and then rolling when I need to, then going in for the backstab. With this technique discovered, the final boss has suddenly become much easier. He did get some hits on me, taking me down to 5 health. And the worst part about that, he's also on low health. And I always fucking choke when it comes to shit like this. I honestly thought I would fuck that up. But the final blow gave me 2 achievements and the mastery. Officially allowing me to say, yes, I can hardcore 40 Winks. The ending sequence plays and Fredbear is thrown out after failing Nightcap for the last time. Rough and Tumble console Fredbear, who tells them the only reason his master treats him so badly is because he can't sleep because of the big clock in his bedroom. Really. So let me get this straight. The reason that this dumb fuck couldn't get to sleep and abused his bear and decided to give everyone else in the town, city, or wherever the fuck we are nightmares was because he installed a giant, noisy clock on his house, which was also in his bedroom, and he didn't think to, turn it off. I'm pretty sure it's you that needs the smack. Rough and Tumble also agree that it's pretty stupid, so they engage in crime and vandalise the clock. Apparently, in the time it took Nightcap to throw out Fredbear and for us to reach the house and break his clock, Nightcap managed to get a good sleep in because we see him waking up, feeling much better, and he watches us skip home. So after a bit of research, I haven't found much information about its development, so the lack of story, as well as its odd pacing, still remains a mystery to me. What I did find, however, was some prototype footage of the unreleased N64 version, which then led me to finding out that in 2018, a Nintendo 64 cartridge was released by Pico Interactive that allowed co-op. But at least I got to enjoy the PS1 version, and enjoy I did. True that the plot is near non-existent and the slippery surfaces, selective edge grabbing, and douchebag enemies can get on your nerves. On the flip side, the levels are decently designed, with each one offering up new challenges as well as new things to discover, and are all fun to play with. The variety of map types always gives you something new to experience, and I was never bored playing it, neither did I think the game ever got repetitive. Not even once. So is it good? Yes. Great? No. But it doesn't need to be. It's a fun time, and sometimes that's all a game needs to be, and it was certainly a fun one to hardcore. Now, however, what should I do next? Now, I've already got a backlog of videos lined up, so if you do have a request of what you'd like to see me do feel free to leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. But I think I may have an idea on what to do next. And I think it's going to have to be something from my top 100. Something where indulging in my rage, particularly road rage, is a good thing.